let's be red, so colorful. If you feel it, then let's go home to a place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Rise, rise, keep on rising, rise, rise, rise.
Good evening, folks. I've no idea what's going on the screen right now. Just are you noticing a weird screen here? We've got 3 boxes and 2 boxes.
Yeah, there's three boxes behind us, and then there's us two. Oh.
Whoa! What? on
StreamYard's
earth?
having a meltdown, guys. Sorry
Yeah,
about
I
this.
do apologise. I have no idea what is going on here. There's 3 boxes. Hang on a minute. Let me. I think. I think I know what's happened, Alex. Is that I think Lady Sam's been in the Warlasses studio today, and it's all gone a bit skew
Oh,
with.
Tinkered with stuff, and it's applied to this.
Yeah,
this one.
so we'll just leave it at that for now because it's set. We'll just leave it in that studio for now. It was just the intro, obviously, was the lasses. So there you go. But you got to hear it twice. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Transfer Show with myself, Paul, and, of course, Alex, Mr. Stato. We are with you tonight to go through some of the names that have been linked with the club. Now, again, I must say that just because they've been linked in the media does not mean that we know that the signing or we are in the know. These are just simply media links. And, of course, as you well know by now on our transfer shows, we just take a deep dive into these players and see what they could bring to the squad should they sign, and get your opinion. Do you like them? Do you not? Etc. So that's what the transfer shows are all about. And of course, when we do get concrete confirmation from the club of a player coming in, then we'll do an in-depth one on that player alone. So enjoy it. But please do give it the thumbs up if you do enjoy it. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you like what you see. And also you can support the channel in the usual 2 ways. First of all, by membership. That's the join button underneath me and Stato. And of course, super chats are available, which is the $sign underneath the live chat. And that will therefore guarantee your comment to be read out live on the show. And of course, a massive shout out to our channel sponsor, which of course is Mamaroo Records, Steve based in Whitley Bay. If you're ever there, head across to the centre of town. It's just opposite Greg's. And mention that you're a Toon Review subscriber. Steve will do you a cracking deal on any vinyl or music merchandise you've got your eye on. They do have a website which is pinned at the top of the description as well. So if you can't get to Whitley Bay, check the website out and give them your support. And thank you again to Steve at Mamaroo Records for supporting the channel. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening, and good evening to everybody in a viewerland.
There you go. I mean, it's not said with the same kind of motivation that Billy says it with, but it's fine.
It's
as long as it
under duress.
Absolutely. As long as it gets said. I think that's the main thing. Alex doesn't like doing it, guys. I don't know why, but you know, he's...
It's Billy's thing. It's not my thing.
It is Billy's thing, yeah. A couple of things to go through first. Mark the Celt, thank you for your super sticker. There's no comment there, but thank you for your support, buddy. Truls has so far gifted 10 memberships again tonight. Thank you very much for that, Truls. If you've been gifted a membership by Truls, please do say thank you in the chat to him. And he's also sent in a super chat. A nice evening when we have TTR going, and Jamie Null is also a new member of the channel, so thank you very much for your support, Jamie, and signing up. We've got some cracking prizes coming for members again very, very soon. As you know, we like to just do one night where we have loads of giveaways, and that will be coming up again very soon. Now, Alex, the new stadium, of course, we discussed it a little bit last night. It looks like the fans are mostly in favour now of moving to what they're calling a super stadium.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little conversation about this last night after the fans event, and I think a lot of people are coming around to it. I think a lot of people were okay with it anyway. It's just there's a few people still frustrated with the idea, saying, "Oh, a new stadium doesn't guarantee this. It doesn't necessarily mean that." Yeah, okay, fine, but you know, with where we want to be, I mean, we said this last night, didn't we? That the PIF want to be number one, like absolutely creme de la creme, right at the top.
Yeah.
And the stadium and the facilities and everything that goes with that. Could we make St. James's Park? Could we adjust it accordingly? But probably not. We might be able to stick another 10k on it if we really, really, you know, have a go. But ultimately, it's probably got to be a new stadium, hasn't it?
I agree. Somebody did call me out in my earlier video and said that stop reporting fake news, Alex, apparently. Even though I was reading it from Charlie Bennett's report in Newcastle World. I was reading it from him on what exactly Miller said. And, you know, Charlie's not going to put...
Yeah, well, this is from the club employees last night. This is from their own mouths. So...
Yeah, very strange, very strange, and people just don't seem to grasp that the news shows are all about what's being written about Newcastle United in the media. It's not coming from me. So yeah, it's just absolute. People just seem to love having a dig or love to try and be right. You know, whatever. But I'm still swaying towards a new stadium now. I'll be good to see the back of St. James's, obviously, but I think. In hindsight, you know, you've got to think of the positives and the bigger revenue, I guess, Alex, that a new stadium brings, and you know, everything that goes with a new stadium, what they can build around it. The revenue is just massive for Newcastle. And Tom's backing me up here. Not fake news. I heard it with my own ears. Yeah, Tom was there last night. So thank you. I appreciate that, Tom. Andy says can't move out of the town. Can't move out of the town centre. I've heard mention of the racecourse. Absolutely not. It's going to be difficult to find a place within the town centre. It really is, or the city centre. It's going to be very difficult. But hey, we're not the people that have got to find that out. That's to people who are much more qualified to sort that out than us. Alan Breadmore, who's been a member for 10 months on the channel. Evening, Paul and Alex. Hope Susan is doing okay. Love the crime show she's been doing. Can't wait for the next one. Looking forward to listening tonight. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for your 10 months of support. We've got a little Phoebe Ditchburn is in the chat, Alex.
Really?
My daughter. Now, it could be my son because the next door, and Ben might have just hijacked Phoebe's account, but hello to whoever it is. It's Ben or Phoebe. Love yous both. And thank you for your comment. Right. Now, shall we, Alex, I'll just ask you straight off the belt. Are these players that we're going to look at tonight, can I pronounce the names is the question, because everyone will be having their little bets on tonight whether I'm going to be able to pronounce these names.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I've got a couple of players just to... It's more of an announcement about different players that we're not covering first, just because we've got nearly 800 people in. So just to stop all of the questions. So first things first, for people asking about this guy, we have already reviewed him.
Yes,
it
we
was
have,
recent, so you haven't got to pronounce it, Paul. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So Nicolas Kuhn, who plays for Celtic, we have reviewed him. We reviewed him a couple of shows ago. So we're not doing him tonight. We are aware he exists.
I think it was the last transfer show we covered.
It might have even been the last one, yeah.
So if you want to go
also, there's loads of mention about this guy, about Igor Jesus for Botafogo. I've actually kind of taken quite a liking to him and have watched the last 3 Botafogo games. Yeah, quite a good player. Not necessarily the best pick, but I just think he's really cool. He's a really good player. So, and then this guy we're not doing tonight, but is on the radar, and we shall be doing him at some point. We can't do everybody all in one night. I do need time to make sure I can actually go and learn about these players. I'm
Yeah.
not just going to I'm not just going to have a look at Wikipedia and do a show, because that's no benefit to any of you guys. You could all do the same thing. So I like to actually try and watch as much as I can and learn before we do them on a transfer show. So those three are not on tonight. Some of them have been before. Some of them we're still researching.
Right. Now, what I did say earlier on in the week was we were going to do a match day live on Saturday covering the Premier League, which is, of course, in preparation for us getting a second channel underway, Alex. So we're going to do a poll to see what our viewers would like us to cover on Saturday. So let me just put the question, which match day live...
What games have we got on Saturday?
I am just about to announce them, Alex. Right. First game will be Bournemouth versus Brighton. Second choice is Arsenal versus Forest. You've got exactly the same screen I'm looking at, Alex. Then we've got Villa versus Palace. And the fourth kickoff at 3 o'clock is Everton against Brentford. The other games on Saturday, Leicester Chelsea kickoff. Oh no, we've got Fulham Wolves as well, but no, I'm not doing
Man
Fulham
City
Wolves.
Tottenham not on.
That's half five kickoff, Alex. So
okay.
I mean, could we do a 5:30 one instead of a? No, we'll do 3 o'clock. We'll do 3 o'clocks. So there you go. The poll is under. I'm not doing Fulham Wolves because I'll fall asleep. So there you go. That is the poll tonight. Who wants what on Match Day Live for Saturday? If you want one, I think we said it a couple of days ago. We mentioned it, and there was a lot of positivity for us to start doing other games, which is why we are going to start a second channel covering football in general, whether that be the Premier League, overseas, etc. So lots more coming up. Mr. K wants us to get going on Spotify again. Yeah, I've missed a couple of weeks just with what's been going on. I've never had a chance. I will start uploading again to Spotify. So I do say apologise for that. Mark Singleton says, as a Cherries fan, I will say Bournemouth against Brighton. Anything taking your fancy there, Alex, out of those 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to watch Everton-Brentford because we've been linked with players from both teams. So I think there's more value in it for us in terms of possible signings. I can see probably everybody just voting for Arsenal Forest, though. I guess, yeah, it's a slightly better game. We get to see Elliot Anderson.
It's got to be a decent game, hasn't it, really? But hey-ho. Right, let's take a look at our first player of the evening. I'm just waiting to see the right screen on Alex's side, and then we'll bring the player up. Here we go. And it is Ibrahim Maza.
I believe so. I don't know how you would say it in Algerian. Or do Algerians speak Algerian, or do they speak a version of
Mother, Ibrahim Maza, or something like that? I bet it is. Anyway,
I'm good at languages. I don't know what they speak in Algerian.
Let's just review the Sodden player.
So he's up there with a long line of recent impressive Algerian. He's not born in Algeria. He was actually born in Berlin in Germany, but Algerian ancestry, I guess we're going to say. They've got a really good track record of that. And he's definitely not a hidden gem, but he's about to maybe get a move. So he plays for Hertha Berlin, or BSC, however we're gonna sort of say them. He's nearly 19, so he's about to tick over into being a 19-year-old. And they are in the second Bundesliga at the moment. They did go down a couple of years ago, and he made his debut when he was about 16 for Hertha. So he's been on the up for a couple of years now. Quite a highly rated player. Mm-hmm. He is kind of a wide forward, knitting together midfielder. I think positionally, if you wanted a comparison, maybe Joe Willock-ish in terms of where he can play on the pitch. Not necessarily that he plays that way.
Yeah.
Kind of cam, left wing, left forward. He's got that kind of vibe about him.
Mm-hmm.
So far this season, 3 goals and 1 assist in the second Bundesliga with just shy of 1,000 minutes. And if we scroll down, we do have some statistics for him. Please bear in mind, this is against the men's next 14 competitions. So these, the reds and greens. Yeah, these are against things like the Championship and the MLS and the second Bundesliga. So you've got to take these with a pinch of salt. However, they're still quite good when you actually look at the numbers. So progressive passes is really nice and carries. So lots of ball progression, decent, well, very high successful take on rate, decent defensive metrics as well. High tackle rate is really nice. Good amount of shot volume per 90. Considering his age as well, he's 18 with this data. Really, really, really good. And if we go and have a look, that's not really going to give us too much because, again, that's going to compare to different places. Career to date is Hertha. Excuse me. I think he started fairly locally. It wasn't at Hertha. It was at Reinickendorfer Füscher, which means I can't remember what it means. It means Rhine Village Foxes. I believe that means in German. So, yeah, the Rhine Village Foxes is where he started, and then he got picked up by Hertha. He's been through the academy, started playing for the first team, and you can see he's starting to get into his stride now. 13 appearances and 6 starts last season. Now he's 18. He's made 12 starts at 12 appearances. He's part of the team. He is their guy going forward. They really need to get promoted, though, or they're going to lose him. They need to start doing better in the league. Hertha are not doing fantastic at the moment. Standings-wise, they are... I mean, they're pretty far down in the second Bundesliga. And for people who want to have a watch of him, I'm pretty sure YouTube still show the second Bundesliga games for free, which is really cool. So you can catch games of his for free.
They've had a massive fall from grace, Hertha, haven't they?
Yeah, it's not been great. A few of these teams quite a few years ago were very well placed. Like Firth recently were right at the top of this. Obviously, Schalke have had a fall from grace. You've also got Hesve were in the Bundesliga for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. Fox saying he's not ready for the Prem. Yeah, possibly not. So here are all of his recent games. Lots of high ratings. So let's go and have a look at the stats for him. Oh, look who it is for Darmstadt.
I can't see it, Alex. I think you need to zoom in, mate. Oh my God, it's Finn Lachenmacher. It's the man, the legend that is Finn Lachenmacher.
Played against him.
Guys, if you're new to the channel and don't know what that name says, just go back and look at our shorts on the channel. There's one where Alex tells us how Lascelles struggled badly against Mr. Lachenmacher, and we all just lost the plot. It was the way he said it, and you had to be there, to be honest. But yeah, wow. I mean, he's moving his way up the ladder, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, so Maza in a slightly strange system, a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-3, however we're going to say this, and he's kind of tucked in behind the striker on the left. Does wear the number 10 shirt for him. The best way to describe him is never give up, dribbly boy. He's very, very technically gifted, but will always try and win the ball back. Really high work rate. No such thing as a lost cause. If somebody robs the ball, he will fight tooth and nail to get it back or retain it. I think this words, English, difficult. The data of this one game kind of proves that to a point. 5 out of 10 ground duels, 3 out of 5 dribbles. So he will fight tooth and nail to progress the ball, to dribble properly, and he'll be physical with it as well. 1 key pass in this game. And if we go and have a look at maybe one of his higher ratings, they do tend to switch systems as well. So a different lineup. You've got a 4-4-2 with him out on the left, is almost like a left forward. Data in this game. What did he do? Oh, he only played 14 minutes, so he obviously got, I think he got injured, but he did score a goal. So 1 completed dribble, 1 his ground duel, scored his goal, and then went and had a nice sit down. Let's get you a game where he didn't actually get injured so we can see a bit more data. So there he is again on the left, but just behind the striker this time. Very left-sided data. 4 shots, 3 out of 8. He tried 8 dribbles. Didn't win particularly as many duels as he probably should have done physically, but you can see what this guy is about. He is get the ball forward. He's got really good tricks as well. He's partial to a ball roll, a flip flap, a shimmy, a this, or that. He can wriggle out of tight spaces. He's quite pacey. He brings others into the game. And he's really, really mature for his age. I do like his playing. I think maybe Foxy's selling him a little bit short there about whether he's Prem ready. I think you've got to appreciate that if he gets to move like mid-Jan, he still gets another 2.5, 3 months of experience in this level. So, yeah, I agree. He needs more minutes. Maybe he would need a loan back. There are a lot of other Premier League teams interested in this guy. So let's go to his transfer mark so you can see him. Get rid of all these bloody adverts. Oh, God. Oh, go away. So there he is. Oh, the adverts come straight back.
There he is.
So where's my little notes thing? So Southampton are very interested in him. Apparently, there are rumours of around the £16 million mark. Leicester interested. Southampton and Wolves have been reported to have regularly scouted this guy this season as well and had scouts out there. Brentford, Leicester, Newcastle, and West Ham also apparently interested, but there's no confirmation that scouts have been sent out. And also rumours that Atletico have sent scouts. So even in La Liga, so he's definitely a lot of people are tracking him and very, very interested in him. And obviously he does come from a very interesting recent line of impressive players to play for Algeria or could play for Algeria, which he's now committed to. He did play for the German youth setup, which is down here. There we go. So he played for Germany U18s, 19s, 20s, and then has gone and got his first cap for Algeria. So he's committed to Algeria. There's a few others that have done that recently. Amina Guidi as well, the trickster who plays in Ligue 1. You've got Rayan Cherki, who is not yet committed, I think, to his senior sort of national team. So he could also go to Algeria, I'm pretty sure. So there's loads of, good stock from Algeria, definitely.
Yep.
In terms of player agent, it is CAA Stella, who we are familiar with. They do represent Nick Pope and they represent Ellie Anderson. Ellie Anderson moved to them when he sort of got into the first team setup with us. So we've dealt with them as an agency before. Obviously, the only thing is we are pretty stacked in that position at the moment. So this might be if there's any truth in this, it would be an interesting little bid. Maybe pop him straight back out on loan and hope he can develop and be part of the first team, or just be really, really impressive and sell for big money. But I kind of like this guy. I think he's showing all the physical qualities to maybe be able to step up. But he is quite young and there's not a super amount of experience there. He could do with maybe finishing this season and then so maybe somebody could get a sale in for January and then loan him back for the rest of the season. And then in the summer, we can then reassess. But the vultures are circling on him. I think he will get snapped up very, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame about Hertha because they have had a massive fall from grace. By the way, just to let people know, that is not my daughter in the chat. It's not my son either. So it's either somebody called Phoebe or somebody's trying to impersonate my daughter, which I think is a little bit sick. Why would you want to impersonate somebody's daughter? Sometimes life just astonishes me. It really does. I don't understand it. Susan just confirmed that Ben and Phoebe are in the living room with her, and none of them have been on to type on the show. So that's a little bit weird. What kind of life have you got if you're impersonating somebody's daughter? Dear me. Anyway. He wouldn't be somebody, Alex, that I would expect we'd sign and come straight into the side, or do you think he is capable of coming in and playing Premier League football?
I mean, there's a possibility, but I think definitely not. Like, it's a low probability. I think if he's purchased by somebody like us in January, he finishes the season in Germany 100%. If somebody like Southampton picks him up, they might be more inclined. They might be a bit more 50-50 in what they do with him because they really want to stay in the division. Yeah. I do think he could do with for development purposes. He needs to stay where he is until the end of this season, definitely. But I'd be, excuse me, I definitely keep tabs on this guy. Very, very exciting. Really, really, really like a trickster. Very impressive with that added physicality. He's not a pushover, so quite exciting. And a good, good caliber. He's representing Germany at the youth levels. You've got to be decent to be doing that. So he's, very impressive. Contracted until 2027. No official release clause as far as I can see, and everybody's kind of circling between the 10 and 20 mil mark, with the Southampton papers just popping 16 mil as a plucked out the air figure as far as I could find.
I mean, look, this type of signing, Alex, would be somebody that maybe I could see us signing and loaning maybe back to Hertha. But Hertha there, you've just seen on the league table, they're battling relegation in the second Bundesliga at the minute.
Well, they're not battling relegation, but they are. You would imagine
there,
to keep players like this, they need to be looking at getting promoted as a certainty, and they do not look like that. Does not look like a certainty at the moment at all. Where are they again? They're in 11th, 17 points from 12 games. So they're in a very similar position to where we are in terms of games and points. But the pack is up.
Sorry, I saw the table before and I thought there were 3 or 4 off the bottom. I didn't realize there was more because you jumped in.
Maybe the media are jumping the gun a bit there. They are only 5 points off top. So I think they're just the media are taking the league position and going, ooh, they're not that far away. However, their goal difference would suggest they are on a 0 goal difference. Again, I haven't seen Hertha play that much. They do look middle of the pack in terms of the goal spread. So
interesting.
It doesn't look like unless something sudden sort of dramatically changes, it doesn't look like they're going to be in a push for an automatic promotion spot.
C15 says Eddie will wait to develop young players behind the scenes first, unless they're ready now, which we would have to pay bucks for. Trill's talking about the stadium, saying, why would it be soulless? It's the fans that make the atmosphere, and the Geordies know how to do that wherever they are. To be fair, Toonami. I did mention the atmosphere in the video, just about hopefully it won't be one of those stadiums, Alex, that you're miles away from the pitch, and you just talk to West Ham fans about
an athletics track off in the middle. Yeah, awful.
Yeah. By the way, the football content awards are on tonight. They will be taking place very shortly. Who knows? I mean, we would love to have been there, but mix up in messages, I guess. A little bit annoying that we're not sitting down at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, but hopefully, you never know. It'd be nice to get an email saying, "Oh, you've come away with something," but we'll just have to, we'll have to see. Are you confident, Alex?
No.
Well,
not the kind of people that are in our category.
I mean, it was clear to see what's happened when you looked at the table plan, and suddenly Sky Sports are there tonight. They weren't there last year. You've got all the Meta and Instagram and all those guys who are sponsoring. They've got loads of tables. It's a shame. It really is.
Bit of gatekeeping going on there, maybe.
Yeah. Mags says, evening lads, would Gehi and Mbuemo be a dream window?
It would be a very good window, but
yeah. I'm not sure it would be a dream one though, Alex. I still think there's better defenders we can go for cheaper than Gehi.
Oh, sorry, my FB ref is not letting me load the player that I want to load up, so it's kind of
damn technology. LG says, imagine 80,000 Geordies in a closed stadium. The noise would be unbelievable. Yeah, it would be. It'd be absolutely mental. Colleague says, good luck to you guys and good luck to Adam P, who is also up for a few awards. Absolutely. Matty at the Magpie channel is up for an award as well. So the Geordie Journals. So hopefully somebody from Newcastle United will come out with something tonight. Jason says, no, I disagree. St. James's Park is the heart and soul of Newcastle as people and the city. Sell your soul for money at your own risk.
I'm sure the Man City fans who frequented Main Road are not bothered by your statement as they watch the parade unfold with the treble winners banners, and I get what you mean, but we're not able to do that. We're not going to be able to be the best without certain things occurring, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So it's, do you want to be a winner, or what do we want to do? It's not up to us now. Somebody's brought the club in a different direction. So
a dream window would be Jude Bellingham, but that's not happening. Yeah, it certainly would be. I personally would prefer a cheaper option than Guéhi, but the links are coming back. Yeah, there's links pretty much every day saying we're going back. But I think it's more about how we go back this time and not get the piss taken out of us, because I really do think that's what happened in the summer. They moved the goalposts so many times. C15 says, for us, though, who haven't spent in 2 seasons, really, that's close to a dream window in January. It is close. It's certainly up there, without a shadow of a doubt, but it still might be slightly difficult. You just don't know where Palace's stance is on Mark Guéhi. You really don't. Right. Have we got the next player, Alex?
Yeah, we have. I've managed to fix it. Just 1 second. I just need to bring up one more page for him. You're not going to like this one either.
Oh, Alex, I'll tell you what, if it's who I'm thinking of, I'm ending the show right now. I have no idea who it is, but if it is who I think it is, it fucking is. I know it is. My eyes are terrible. I can still read that sudden name. Paul Bloody Pogba.
We have to discuss it.
I know we have to, because he's been linked. I think West Ham and Newcastle apparently are the two sides that they're looking at Paul Pogba. But I just cannot see this guy coming to the club. I really can't. And I don't know whether we'd want a player like him at the football club, to be honest. But go ahead. Let's sell him to us.
I can hear people typing.
There's a lot already, Alex.
Keep the toys in the pram before we've done the. Let's talk about it first.
If we have to,
honestly, the comments.
I know.
What do you mean? Look at his wage? Yeah, I know. I think that maybe, what was he on? Was he claiming or something? I'm not quite sure.
808 euros a week. I mean, I'd give him that.
Maybe it's like the French government allowance for not playing because of reason. Maybe he's on some sort of thing. I don't know.
Chippers, he was banned till March, but they've reduced it, haven't they, Alex? So he's actually available now as a free agent.
Yeah, they have.
Unfortunately.
Right. So let's break this down before we talk about wages and who he is. Let's talk about the football ability first, and could there be something that would be useful to us? Then we'll talk about the other traits.
No.
So 6'3" midfielder who is 31 years old. So he is well past his prime. So whoever signs him, if they need an impact, it's going to have to be for a couple of seasons. Maybe you're looking at 2 years. I can't see anybody giving him maybe a 2-year, anything more than a 2-year contract, you would imagine. I've got his stats from his last full season, which was quite a while ago. But it is still Alex, just impressive data.
In the chat, as he normally is for our transfer shows. And even he says, even I wouldn't give him a job. I haven't seen one comment come in yet who is actually saying, yes, interesting. Not one yet. Maybe C15 rise is a possibility, but certainly not a definite yes. But carry on, Alex.
Okay, so positives. Ball progression is elite, or at least it was when he was playing regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And this data is outrageous. It's extremely impressive. You would ideally want maybe a little bit more from him defensively. In fact, a lot more defensively. But the aerials is insane, and everything else is just outrageous. It's really, really, really impressive. And you can look at this is his comparisons to people from that season. So this was a couple of years ago. So bearing in mind, obviously, people have since maybe changed clubs and moved around. But you've got Loftus-Cheek, Gundogan, Eriksson, Fernandes, and Udegaard. Obviously, people were a little bit younger then, played it slightly differently. And then, let's go and have a look at some games of his at Juventus before he got banned.
I mean, that's a consideration to take, Alex, is that he hasn't been playing for a while. So, even if we signed him on a free, it's going to be a while before we even see him.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I think you wouldn't see him until maybe February anyway.
I mean, that's impressive, Alex, just because he was basically high every game he played.
To be honest, I don't even know what his ban was for specifically.
I think it was for enhancement stuff. So I believe it was anyway.
Well, it depends what it is, doesn't it? I mean, they banned Sharapova, didn't they? For her, she basically didn't alter her medication, and they suddenly ticked it over into they put something that was in her existing medication on the banned list, and then all of a sudden she failed, and she was like, "Oh, she should have checked the list. That's her fault." But still, sometimes it's not always that straightforward. So he wasn't starting. To be fair, doesn't look like he was starting any games for Juventus before he got banned.
Because
no, he wasn't. He wasn't starting either.
He's lost it. This is good.
91 caps for France, 11 goals.
Yes. This is probably the quickest player we're ever going to do on a transfer show. I just, it's not happening, Alex. And seriously, there isn't one person in the chat who wants him.
Yeah, I mean, for people telling me to move on, and I'm being silly, please take an egg out of your kitchen and sit on it, because he's been linked and we are allowed to review him.
We are.
How this works. I'm not saying that I want this either. I'm absolutely not.
Yeah.
Is there a universe in which a transfer for Paul Pogba for a Prem team could work? Yeah, I think it possibly could. I think there's a revival story and arc in there somewhere. Are we in a position where we can take a risk on that? I don't think we are at all. Could he come back?
Somebody has even said, Alex, that they would take Steve Bruce back before Paul Pogba. Dear God.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's good. He's a good player, and there's a very good possibility he could come in for somebody. You know, you could see him going somewhere in League One. I could see him maybe ending up. I mean, Marseille takes all the wrong ones, don't they? So maybe he might end up at Marseille.
About to see them,
somewhere. I could see him slotting him somewhere, and if he can get back to his best, he might be. You know, he's still young enough at 31 to make an impact for another 3 to 4 years, maybe. I think he could do really well, but I don't think we're in a position where we've talked about this a lot at in regards to we can't have too many misses with transfers, and I think this is far too risky. Could it work? It could work, but it's way too unlikely that it's not going to work. So there's just no point. But we've had to talk about it for at least a minute because we got linked. But there you go, Paul Pogba. We can't do a poll because Paul's already got a different poll up.
Yeah, we have.
I agree with you all. No, but we have to look at it at least. That's the whole point in the transfer show.
Indeed. Dan Robinson, thank you for your super chat. It took Gordon Hall a year to get Howe fit ready. Pogba will retire before Howe will think in match fit. Total waste of money. I'd prefer Almiron. Dear God, Steve Bruce, Almiron. That just sends a message. Paul Geordie says, I'd take him without hesitation. My window cleaner has retired and I'm desperate. Yeah, he was a great player, Alex. There's no doubt about that. But I just think players like him, they won't be remembered for what they've done on the pitch. You know what I mean? He won't be remembered for the good things that he's done. He's just kind of ruined his career in a way. And it's the same with anybody that gets a ban. I mean, Tonali is still young enough, I think.
I don't know. I still think Pogba could be good. I feel like there's a lot of people gaslighting now just about Pogba and just throwing. This is the whole point that I joined the Toon review and I do what I do because I don't like people throwing around arbitrary opinions with no facts to back them up about player quality. This is exactly why I do what I do. And Pogba is a fantastic footballer, and there is nothing to suggest that he can't do quite well. In fact, very well for a team, whether that's in the Premier League or League.
I don't think he's a Howe player.
I'm not saying I want him.
I don't think he's an Eddie Howe type player. You know, you see Pogba, he doesn't necessarily put in like if you look at our midfield at the minute, the jobs that our midfielders do, I can't see Pogba fitting into that. You know what I mean?
I agree. In terms of the personality, the type of player we want, in terms of the tenacity and energy, potentially not. No, he does. There's so many boxes that he doesn't tick for us. However, what he can do on a football pitch can be absolutely sublime. I mean,
he's a World Cup winner.
He's
a World Cup winner, and I appreciate that. You know, he will be remembered for obviously winning a World Cup. He's got a World Cup winners medal, and not many people in this world have an opportunity to say that. So, but I think his time has passed, and I think now that he's had a long layoff as well. I could see him go. Somebody mentioned the MLS before, Alex, like into Miami or somewhere like that, or maybe even Saudi.
I think he's got another couple of years in Europe playing in Champions League standard. I think he could still be good enough. I mean, in fact, I'm willing to put my neck on the line and put a pin in that. Let's come back to this, and we'll see where he ends up. I think he'll end up somewhere reasonable. I'll be disappointed if he cops out and goes to Saudi Arabia or he goes to the MLS. I think he's still got it to be able to play in a decent league and at a reasonable level. And I think he's definitely got enough talent to do that.
Yeah, that's then looking at his attitude, Alex, and that's been questionable before he was even banned, wasn't it? You know, whether he's got the attitude. He had problems at Manchester United, of course, and I don't know whether he's got the attitude or the drive, maybe to, we know he likes his lifestyle. That's been highly publicized, similar to what Aubameyang was with his cars and his stuff like that. But listen, if he we'll see where he ends up.
I'm going to put him back on screen just because people keep telling me to stop. You're going to make it worse. I'm going to keep talking about Pogba.
Listen, guys, it's not Stato. It's because he's been linked. We do put them in. But listen, I think
should have done it last show, but I didn't. I've been putting it off. But we've got to. Yeah, let's move on from him now.
Yes, please. Anyway, who is the next player, Alex? Okay, there he is. Let's have a look.
This person.
Giorgio Scalvini. That's I can pronounce that one. Atalanta player, 20 years old, or well, nearly 21 actually. Go ahead, Alex. Let's see what this guy could offer.
Okay, so everybody's going to be really frustrated by this. He's injured. He's just recovered from injury. He's just recovered.
As long as he hasn't got 3 pages of injuries, Alex, I think people will.
No, it was just one bad injury. It was an ACL. So he got Botmaned, basically. Okay. He had a Botman. He had quite a bad time. It was only in June or something that he got injured, and he's already back in training. Like 2 days ago, he was back in training, which he's really quick for an ACL, like stupid quick.
But he is only 20. He's got youth on his side. Sometimes injuries like that do heal, at a younger age quicker than what it does when you hit like 24, 25, etc. But still, it is quick though. It is very quick.
Yeah, I mean, when I was because obviously we've done him before on transfer shows pre-injury, and this has all come back around. Everybody's been talking about Scalvini for ages.
Yeah.
And I was researching him a couple of days ago, and there's loads of rumors about funny injections and stem cells, and oh my god, how has he recovered so quickly? It's developed like a genre of conspiracy theories about how Scalvini is suddenly recovered so quickly. It's quite a weird little rabbit hole of the internet.
Yeah, Graham, there's no lag on the stream, mate. I think it's at your end. There's no problem at all on the stream. I would give your computer a good shake. Sorry, mate, go on.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made that we don't know how he's going to be post-injury, but he is a centre-half. It's not quite as needed that he's a nippy winger. But he is an absolute monster, this kid. He's an absolute behemoth, like a just monolithic for his age as a centre-half. He does the whole step into midfield and intercept and rob the ball, go on a little run with it. He can score from outside the box. He's cheeky. He's technical. He's a good player. Like, this guy is one of those that he's going to go right to the top. You just know he is. He's just fantastic, and he's definitely not going to stay at Atalanta for forever. There is going to be a move on the horizon. This is a kind of, like maybe an Inter or a Man City, or he's going to go somewhere like that. He's definitely going to be playing consistent Champions League football, and he's a great player, and he is right-footed, plays on the right side, a right-sided centre-half, and he's an absolute unit as well. And I will show you, if we scroll down, some of his data, which is rather green. Scalvini's pace,
Nice.
I mean, he's fairly pacey. He's got quite a long stride. But again, he's just come back from an ACL, so we don't know whether that's been affected marginally. We'll see. Should be okay. But yeah, here's the data. It is, because obviously Serie A is a Big Five league, and he's got Champions League minutes as well. I think he's got Champions League minutes recently. Can't remember if Atalanta were in it last time. So this is proper data. These percentiles are bang on. This is how he's performing against the elite players in Europe. So ball progression, progressive passes is in the 78th percentile, which is really, really healthy. Again, remember that all of these metrics were when he was just turning 20. So considering that, this is fantastic. Successful take-ons for a centre-half is good. Progressive carries is good as well. Tackles and interceptions, super, super high. Aerial win rate is really, really tidy as well. Has a shot every second game. Cheeky little shot probably from the box. Shot creating actions is really high as well. So obviously involved in offensive set pieces, you would imagine, being 6'4.5". So he's a beast. This guy next to Botman is a cheat code. Like, that is a disgusting centre half pairing. It's filthy. In terms of who he profiles like, well, you've got some impressive players in here. Bastoni's in there. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in anymore. There we go. Bastoni's in there. Calafiori, who we've reviewed many times before he went to Arsenal, was a good player. Pavard is in there, interestingly, as well. And Salisu, who
very
also
good player as well, by the way. The Monaco guy, a very good player.
Senesi for Bournemouth in there. So profiles really, really well. I mean, senior career to date. I mean, you can see when he broke through. That was it. As soon as he started playing, he was the guy. So as an 18-year-old, 29 starts, 32 appearances, he's ever present, and then obviously just did his ACL. So he was back in training a couple of days ago, and Gazzetta dello Sport, that absolute lovely publication that we tend to take certain snippets from sometimes on this channel, apparently think he's going to be on the bench next week, which
that's incredible.
Absolute a bag of turnips. He's trained for 2 days and they think he's going to play. It's just ridiculous.
His fitness must be phenomenal. It must be incredible.
Well, yeah,
that's all I can think.
But here he is. He's got 8 caps for Italy as well. I think it was a really bad time for him because he missed the summer with Italy, which was a shame for the international tournament. So he wasn't able to be involved. But 8 caps for Italy, considering he's been out since June, so it was pre-June, he'd already gotten 8 caps. Well, that's really impressive, incredibly impressive, especially for a centre half. And we know the Italians can make rather good centre halves. It's quite a well-known subject. Contracted until June 2028. So this one, guys, is going to be expensive. Really, really, really expensive. You're talking.
I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat, Alex, saying, he's going to Real Madrid, he's going here, he's going there. Newcastle would never get him.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy, to be fair.
Yeah, but at the same time, why can't we get him? There's loads of these stories going around now about PSR easing off a little bit and players and certainly Newcastle being able to spend a bit more money and things like that. You just don't know. Look, it might be a 10% chance of signing him, but at the same time, there is a chance. And he's certainly a Mitchell player, in my opinion, Alex. He's somebody that Paul Mitchell would certainly look at signing. And this, you're right. Botman alongside this guy, it is a cheat code. It's filthy. But they're the kind of these are the kind of players that, in my opinion, we need to try and go for, because if they want to be at the elite end of the table every season, playing in the Champions League, we need these kind of players in the squad.
I actually hard disagree with you.
Oh, give out.
We can't continue in this fashion of spending. We can't keep doing this.
Not at the moment, but we could as a certain one-off, Alex. I mean, Jesus. I mean, if we do what Man City did,
but we're
bring
doing
in a big
certain
signing
one-offs
every now and again.
window.
Well,
yeah, we keep doing this every window with, Botman, Bruno, Isak, Tonali, Barnes, Gordon. We can't just keep going 60, 40, 60, 40, 40. We haven't got enough money to do that. We just can't. We can't do it. And we've not been able to sort of turn over some of the old players to get rid of. We can't keep doing this. There's room for this next
to the rules.
Yeah. This next few signings, it looks like we geared up to get Gahey. We'd obviously bid sort of somewhere in the region of 60 to 70 million-ish, and it got rejected. So we know that there is money and that we are looking for a competent first team signing to slot in and be a good player straight away. So we know that that's a fact. Regardless of what certain publications say, we know that was a bid. But I don't think we can keep doing that. We're going to have to do kind of like the first guy we looked at, like Maza and stuff. We're going to need those kinds of signings. We need to sign the maybe players. We've got to take the risks and get a good hit rate, and maybe slightly less risky signings. Players who are 10, 15, 20, 25, who the big clubs are kind of like, not sure if that's actually going to work. We need to get a good hit rate on those kinds of transfers. Yeah. I love Scalvini. I love that. But it's either Gahey or Scalvini. I think it's one or the other. And I think we've put so much into Mark Gahey that I just never don't think this is ever going to happen. I know we've been linked with him. That's why we've got to look at him again. But a few people in the chat who mentioned Real Madrid and the stuff. I mean, you're not wrong. I think this guy's got the potential to play for a Champions League winning club. Like, he's that good, or could be that good.
This guy, I mean, 10%, he's calling me a muppet, and I've seen a couple of comments from him tonight. Andy, if you want to go and take your face for a shit, maybe look in the mirror, and then you'll see a muppet.
What's he on about 10%? 10% of what?
I said there might be a 10% chance of us signing him. But obviously he's took exception.
If we join the race and we put the money down, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure we're in the race.
Well, if we are or we're not, time will tell on it. But look, he would be a fantastic signing. He has been linked with us, but maybe he will end up at Real Madrid. I mean, they seem to just be able to pluck money from trees. It doesn't matter what sort of financial situation.
It's because you can go to any village in any continent in the world and someone's got a Real Madrid shirt on. That's why.
Well, of course it is. They are where they are, and they'll always be the massive big pull for any player. We know that's been the case for years and years. That Real Madrid just, the talk about Real Madrid or Barcelona, kids growing up.
But this is why I mentioned what I did a minute ago about us recruiting slightly differently. Like, a couple of people have mentioned Brighton. I'm not saying we've got to do exactly what Brighton do, because look what they're doing now is that they've recruited very young with the Minte and Gruda, players like that aren't ready yet to go and be absolute superstars. They're very good, super high ceilings. We kind of need to find a really nice middle ground, halfway between what the top clubs are doing and what Brighton are doing. It's really difficult. It's really complicated. That's why we've got Paul Mitchell in, who is supposed to be a recruitment guru, and his CV so far has proved that. So we've just got to give him time to work his magic. Now he's in the actual running. He's in the hot seat. I think in the summer, a lot of it was pre-agreed, and I don't think he had as much control and he wasn't in charge of all the planning. But this time, it's going to be the Paul Mitchell show. So we'll wait and see how the next couple of windows go.
Parry Fox is saying that Rondon gave Scalvini nightmares earlier this year. Interesting. Niall says the more we buy Premiership proven players, the longer it will be before we reach the top. Scalvini would be a statement. He's good, says James. Andrew says, and to be fair, lads, we are a club that doesn't pay for the top talent. We take the top end bunt. Bruno, Isak, and Tonali.
Yeah, I mean, Bruno was one of those players where the top clubs weren't 100% sure, and we went for it, and it's worked. Isak was another one. He was still super expensive, but a lot of clubs were a bit apprehensive about whether he was going to be able to push on because we signed him off the back of a 16-goal campaign in La Liga, and everybody thought they're weren't sure if he's going to be able to kick on, and he has done. So we've signed a few expensive players, but they were the ones that the top clubs weren't 100% ready to pull the trigger on. So, but they were still really expensive.
Interesting question from Kenzie. Guys, what are we happy paying at most for Gay in January?
50.
I was thinking 50 as well. I think Palace will be. I think they'll push for more, but
then they can take a hike.
Yeah,
in those wonderful mountains of London, like they can. I mean, they can stay in the relegation zone if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Ed says, I had major dental surgery this morning, only to come home and break my wrist. It's been a real one today, so this transfer shows a sight for sore eyes. Cheers as always, guys. Ed, get yourself
things happen in threes, so don't move.
Yeah, just stay where you are and just enjoy this show and then just chill. But we hope you get yourself sorted very soon, Ed. Joseph says, is there continued reports, Ari, the young Monaco right winger you covered 4 or 5 weeks ago? We were all impressed. There is a Paul Mitchell connection. Love the show, guys. Can you remember who that is?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should revisit previous clubs that Mitchell's been involved with just before we hit January. And yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Fost says, there's cheaper players out there than these two. I'd love a punt at
how do we
Chaw.
Yeah, but we got Lloyd Kelly, so we're going in a different direction.
The Zig says 50 million, my arse. He's not better than Botman. Well, what you've got to consider here is he's an England international, and they go for a lot of money, whether you like it or not.
Botman was one season in France, but it was a Ligue 1 winning season for Lille. But Mark Gahey is an England international, like you said, Paul, and he's older. He's 24. He's proven a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, yes, he's had a bit of a difficult start to this season, but we don't know whether that's because his head's been turned, or he's just not in a great personal situation with obviously wanting to. I think he did say that he would come to Newcastle, but it didn't happen. So there could be anything going on in the player's head at the minute. Brian H, thank you for your super chat. Another great show, TTR. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Shit will hit the fan tomorrow, says Bill. Yeah, it's the vote around sponsorships, isn't it? We'll cover that tomorrow night in TTR Friday. We'll definitely cover that on the show. So we'll see what happens.
Press conference.
We are doing a press conference reaction at 11 o'clock as well. So if you are around, we will be doing a live show at 11 o'clock in the morning for the press conference reaction. Will Callum Wilson be fit, Alex? That is the big question. Before he answers that, well, he's answered. Don't forget, we are doing the match preview on Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. It's already on there, so you'll have got your notification for it. 7 o'clock Sunday night is the preview. It was pointless doing one tonight with the game being on Monday. I mean, it's just ludicrous, really. Or those are the words of TTR Stato, which is perfectly correct in saying it would be ludicrous to do a preview for a Monday night.
Yeah, you'd forget the show by Sunday, wouldn't you?
Well, hopefully not, Alex. Hopefully everybody remembers these shows and can look back on them with pride. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but yeah, it will be Sunday night, and then of course Monday night is Match Day Live. Tuesday night you will get a double header of TTR action because we will be having the review. We may have to start the review show at around about 6:30 instead of 7, because obviously the lasses go on at 8 o'clock for the War Lasses show. So we need to be done and dusted by then. And you know how Alex likes to explain his player ratings. So we normally do need an hour and a half for the match review. Pedro says, Paul, I think you're right about what you said yesterday about Wilson, that the club are covering for him. Well, we'll find out in January, won't we? I'm very intrigued, Alex, to see what Eddie says tomorrow if he's asked about Wilson, which he probably will be, because he did say...
What? Go on.
He did say that Callum should be available for this game. And if you look at everybody's journalist reports on the game, they're all saying Wilson should be back. But he'll be on the bench, won't he? He won't be. I
couldn't remember exactly what Eddie had said pre. I
thought you were going to say I couldn't remember who Callum Wilson was.
Well, yeah, there is that as well. Which do struggle.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, so he said he was going to be. He was potentially going to be available after the international break.
But he said that after the first international break as well, and he said it in the summer that it'd be available for Bournemouth away. So he said it many times.
Who are we playing? West Ham. We're playing West Ham, aren't we? Are we playing West Ham? We are playing West Ham.
Yes.
We are playing West Ham. He is the West Ham slayer, isn't he? So it would be nice to see him at least in the match day squad.
Yeah.
So we will see. I just, these people need to be available more often. They really do.
But we'll see what Eddie says. But there you go, guys. That is the transfer show done and dusted for tonight. Over 1,100 people watching on both platforms. Thank you so much again for spending an hour with me in Stato tonight, just having a look at potential players. Yes, there's a few little donuts in the chat tonight who just don't seem to understand, even though we explain this transfer show a million times over. Those of you that have got brains in your heads perfectly understand and enjoy.
What was the poll?
I'm coming onto it.
Okay.
But like I say, it's good to look at these players that are linked just to see what they could bring to the squad. It doesn't matter whether there's a chance of them signing or no chance of them signing. If they're linked to the club, it's still good to have a look at these players and just see what they could add. It just some people don't seem to grasp that concept, but never mind. Anyway, the poll.
Before you do that.
Nice.
Pep just signed a contract extension.
Yeah, that was rumored a couple of days ago
that
he was going to sign an extension.
I mean, it doesn't say how many years for on this. That was literally like a minute ago. Yeah, it doesn't say how long for. The journey continues. Yeah, they've just released all of their interesting. Cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it was rumored a couple of days ago that that was going to happen, and it certainly has. Anyway, the poll for the game at the weekend people want to see is Arsenal against Forest from the Emirates. So that should be a good game, actually. It should be a very good game. We know how Forest can play, but Arsenal, little bit of a wobble lately as well. But like I say, we're going to do this in prep for starting the second channel, which will cover football in general. I think it's just going to be called TTR Extra or TTR2, but it'll be TTR2, the football show or something like that. You know, it'll have a little saying for it, so people know that it's not just Newcastle United on that channel. But we'll have a think about what we're going to call it. But that'll be in due course. So yeah, Forest against Arsenal at the Emirates. Right, thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for your super chats and memberships, and of course to the mods. Great job again. Thank you so much, guys. And a big thanks to Alex. And of course yourselves. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed the show. 2 live shows tomorrow, of course. One at 11 o'clock, which is the press conference reaction. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we'll have a bit of a football banter and chat and a laugh with TTR Friday. And, of course, your chance to come on and tell us how you're feeling ahead of the game and what Eddie had to say in the press conference. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, folks, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Away the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out the